Hello everyone, welcome to Phil Tank, and today we will continue to talk about technology out of hell, how it is used to waste your time, aka torture you, and how there will be no nuclear war, no alien invasion, like everyone is promising you. Oh, the nukes will go off and everybody will kill each other and the Chinese and the Russians. But how there will be one centralized, globalized effort to control exactly what you think and to essentially turn you into a product. Not only to turn you into a golem, but to turn you into a product, into an exchangeable economic unit. Once again, not going full demoralization here. I repeat this in basically every one of my videos. I'm not one of the nukes will go off and your shadow will be burnt into the concrete type guys. I'm just here and try to help as many wounded as possible. Not going full demoralization campaign here, because there's a lot of people that LARP as based and red pilled people, but their whole job is just to feed you information that is just made to demoralize you and to keep you up at night, to induce fear in you, and to tell you how messed up everything is. So even if we're gonna talk about some things today that are messed up and that are gonna get messed up, in the end, God will always win, and there is absolutely nothing that humanity can do about it. And this is why so many people are mad. So, I don't know, let's start off again with the fact that every single war is a war that is fought to destroy history. Whatever might go on, whatever is happening right now, whatever is the current thing that you are supporting or anticipating or against right now, it is a sole effort to destroy history. Whether it was the bombing of the Iraqi National Museum in 03 by the Brits and the US, or whatever is happening in Ukraine right now, whatever happened in Libya, whatever is happening anywhere on the globe right now, it's always museums and ancient sites and churches and schools where the bombs go off. Therefore, there is only one war going on, and it's a war against all of humanity. It is a war of all of the governments of the world, or the globalists, the ultra globalists, whatever you might call them, the deep state, the shadow government, whatever nice terms you want to attach to those organizations, the Epstein class, whoever, whatever, wherever. It is just one war of all governments, for the lack of a better term, I just say it like that, against all populations of the world. Now, over the course of history, crises have always been used to usher in some sort of more control, more totalitarian means. And this autocratic system is now being built. Just for reference, the difference between an autocratic system like we always refer to the Chinese, once again, I'm not a big fan of the Chinese either, is a totalitarian system just concerns about the public opinion of a person, about who you're going to vote for, what's your views on policy, on politics. Everything else, they don't give a frick about. A totalitarian system, in the end, it cares about your discussions at the dinner table. This is what a totalitarian system is concerned about. It's not only your political views, your quote unquote, air quotes, loyalty to a party, the party, whatever. They concerned about what the family talks about at the dinner table. Now, sure, famines, pandemics, wars have always been used, crises, times of uncertainty have always been used to usher in more regulations, less freedom. And we would take the Patriot Act after 9/11, we can take the the League of Nations after World War One, the UN after World War II, and a lot of other multinational organizations that have been ushered in after that, like the World Bank, the International Money Forum, or the International Economic Forum, or whatever it is. So it's a centralization of power. We had this thing going on just like 5 years ago, whatever that thing was, with the masks and all that, whatever that was. All of a sudden, everybody turned into the Stasi. All of a sudden, it was Eastern Germany everywhere. Now the thing is, you can't really usher in a system like that fast. You can't do it. You can't do it too fast, especially not in a location like the U.S. I'm not from the U.S. I don't know if you can hear that, but you have more guns than citizens in the U.S. I don't know if that's even true or if that's a cliche. I just said it like that. I don't even know if that's true. But even in countries like Britain, you can see sort of the Brits getting fed up, even though people are saying Britain is lost, Canada is lost. Certainly some Central European countries are lost. I don't think it's gone that far. I mean, sure, Britain looks really bad from what I've seen. I've never been there, not planning to go there. It's a shame. I love the Brits, like the real the real Brits. Yeah, but they had some protests going on. I don't know if that already died down or what. I try not to dial in too much into that. I thought about doing a video or like a comment about the Henry Novak case, but then I thought, who the hell is going to listen to me? And I just I don't want to. I don't even want to get into that. I don't even want to get into that. I don't want to torture myself. Don't want to demoralize myself, because things like that are obviously used to slowly torture you. I talked about that in the creation of the Golem Factory, or whatever the title of that video was. The creation of Horror and Terror, a military operation, because it takes a global, coordinated, logistic effort to torture, to harvest negative energy on such a scale. It's not only the bombs going off somewhere in the Middle East or wherever the frick in eastern Ukraine. It's not only the cluster bombs killing Russian kids in eastern Ukraine that our taxpayer money paid for. It's the import of those damaged people into our countries. It's this trade-off. You get the bombs, and then we take all the damaged people in here, and then we use them to torture our population, just like we use the bombs to torture your population. And it is actually insane how small the amount of people that realize this is. Now, I'm not saying I'm Mr. Smart right here. Nah, not at all. I'm just an average retard. I'm just a little bit less insane than everyone else, I feel like. Because I am actively trying to disengage in the torture that is projected, the torture and the molestation that, through the convenience of technology, is now being projected into the comfort of my own four walls. Nowadays, you don't even need to leave your house to get tortured and molested. Whatever. So, our governments just realized, or our governments just concluded that we are inhuman, disgusting freaks, and that we shouldn't procreate and have kids. And instead, we're just gonna import all these fun people to torture our own population. And we can't send them back, because if we would send them back, they would get tortured in their home country, right? Right? So it doesn't matter how often and how many people you tortured here. We can't send you back, because then the Taliban or whoever will torture you in your home country. I wonder why they would do that. Technology. With the means of technology, a control grid, as a lot of people are talking about it now, it's a social credit score. Not knowing that a control grid and a social credit score had been established long ago. It's just getting better, and the technology is getting faster. But we're at least in the testing phase now. Can't say a thing online. We saw the Canadian truckers, their bank accounts were being frozen. What you gonna do? Where you gonna travel? How are you gonna pay your rent? and it's all done by technology. What you gonna do? Soon there will be nothing you can sue, or nothing you can, nobody you can even scream at. What you gonna do? Scream at a computer? What you gonna do? Get mad and shoot a computer? It's hard to get behind. I don't know nothing about that. I gotta be honest. Then looked into digital control grids, cameras that read license plates, the way how you can shut off or shut down electric vehicles. Don't even want to look into that. But it's here. It's been tested. It's been rolled out. It's a slow rollout, sure. They don't want the people to build crosses immediately. So they're just gonna push it out and roll it out slowly. Now, something that is, in my opinion, more visible, something that a real experience, something that can be experienced even more out in the open nowadays. It's the impact of technology on humans and the human brain. Now, I was recently listening to a Andrew Huberman podcast during my day job. I can't be alone with my thoughts. I can't be alone with my thoughts. I have to have something in the background. Can't take the silence. Now, pardon me, irony aside, I was listening recently to one of the Andrew Huberman podcasts, and the guy, some Indian guy that he was interviewing, he said that they had, I don't know who they are, that they found the first cases of AI-induced psychosis. I don't even know what that means. I don't even want to know what that means. He didn't really get in depth about that, thankfully. But it was just, I guess you can look it up yourself if you're interested. I don't recommend looking shit like that up. I'm certainly not gonna look it up. I barely use the AI. I gotta be honest. I barely use it. But I myself, I talked about that also in one of my videos. I forgot which one it was. I believe the video is about the 2000s. As a decade of transition towards a more technologically hectic and complicated time. That people are using the AI as their therapist and whatever, and the AI is basically, that thing is basically programmed. It's gonna reinforce whatever you say, unless it's something racist against anyone besides white people. But basically, whatever you ask that thing, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, sure, that's probably it. It would only say it a little bit nicer than that, which makes it even more nefarious, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying that the AI has been rolled out deliberately to induce mass psychosis, but we see it's undeniable how technology. Yeah, I talked about this a little more in extent in the videos in my video about the 2000s. How it changed human behavior and how dating apps been rolling out, and this whole social media thing of comparing people with each other. Now, that would probably sound a little bit corny, but quoting my coach, but my coach in my MMA gym, he said, never compare yourself to others. It's there's just no purpose in that. And what was the quote? A champion is defined by the opponent that he defeated. I just leave that. I just leave that here. But of course, people are only gonna post their air quotes best moments, pictures, videos, memories, and whatever. They're gonna create their own memories, their best. They're gonna create their own best fake memories on social media, and everybody's watching that and comparing themselves to it. You see a spike in, I don't know, eating disorders. Not only in girls nowadays. You see it in young guys. White men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than any other group. Nobody is talking about that though. Nobody. All the anti-gun people that hate guns so much, they never mention that most guns in the US are actually used by white men to kill themselves. This is what the anti-gun crowds will never tell you. This is what they will never tell you. You can look it up yourself. Instead, it's just guns are evil. Every time somebody shoots up a school somewhere, a bunch of internet videos pop up of people dismantling their guns in their garages. This gun is so bad, I'm gonna saw it in half. Go ahead. We actually see nowadays that everybody claims to be an empath. I don't even know what that means. An empath. It's probably something about, and then it's probably something about how your interpretation of other people's feelings is always right. That's probably what an empath is. Whatever your interpretation of other people's feelings are, it is the right one. And if you say something against it, you're a hater or whatever, a Nazi. But actually, now that everybody out there is an empath, people have never been more self-centered, self-hating, and eventually hating the world around them and showing a lack of empathy towards everything and everybody, including themselves. Now, there's data out there, and I'm not Mr. Data and not Mr. Science. If anything, I am skeptical of all that. But, I mean, maybe that information is also fake and it's just something that has been rolled out to further demoralize us. But there's data or numbers, or at least people out there talking about how all that social media stuff and dating apps actually made it harder for people to fall in love, because everybody essentially is becoming Patrick Bateman, but not necessarily in a way that they're getting jacked and ripped and fucking prostitutes, but they are simply not there. Everybody has their guard up. Everybody thinks they're gonna get raped or accused of rape, whatever made up stuff. Everybody's just got their guard up. You can feel it. You can hear it in the discussions, in the spaces. Now, this is not necessarily as bad as it is portrayed online or everywhere. I talk to a lot of people. I go outside a lot. I have to talk to a lot of people. Most people are great. I also said this. Sometimes I think I'm a racist, but then I hang out with some people from some other places, and they are not totally scum. And I think those people, they're decent people. Sometimes they even rock. Now, of course, it's hard to differentiate what is spiritual warfare. Frankly, everything out there is spiritual warfare. I don't want nobody to be paranoid about that and to go schizo mode. But it is naive, and you can't walk around acting like there is not a deliberate spiritual warfare and demoralization campaign going on against you, because living like that won't make it go away. It will make it like walking through a minefield blindfolded. You don't want to do that, unless you really do want to do that. Next thing you know, you're cutting off contact with all the people that you knew, and you start taking hormones. Welcome to hell. Anyway, don't want to harp too long on this point. There's this guy, Cory Doctorow. I just saw this one thing about him, so I don't know what's his whole deal. I don't know if he's a good guy, whatever his gist is. I think he wrote like some science fiction type stories, or that he wrote some books. But there's this thing. You can find it on YouTube. It's called the Coming War on General Computing, where he is basically saying that a computer went from like this thing that used to be as huge as a fridge in, I don't know, the 60s, when they supposedly went to the moon, and now there's computers everywhere, but we can't go back to the moon. But I talked about that enough times. People really don't want to hear that whole space is fake stuff. Probably even because they have been indoctrinated for I don't know how many years. They've been talking about bases on Mars since the 80s. Never mind. Cory Doctorow had the coming war in general computing, and he said how computers now basically everywhere, and he calls them the little brothers. You know, like 1984, this whole blueprint for the whole system that is being rolled out now. The Big Brother is watching and all that. This is not necessarily how everything will be ushered in, rolled in the air quotes control grid. But there are already there is not necessarily a big brother. Maybe there is a big brother where all this data is centralized. Maybe that's the AI, where they collect everything, where your Microsoft Windows 11 is doing the screenshot every 3 seconds of your screen and storing it in a AI database. Now, what the frick do they need all that data for? I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to go there. And it's not what you might think about. They're gonna have data about the weird stuff that I look up into the internet. It's not even about that. It's about what's the purpose of having all that data stored into an AI. I'm I'm just gonna I'm just gonna leave it at that. You're gonna do the rest. There's little brothers everywhere. It might be like your Samsung smart fridge. It might be it is your Amazon Alexa. I remember when it started with the Alexas, and I was not trusting those things, and I was like, that thing is definitely listening to you, and everybody was calling you a kook, and now everybody knows about it. Ah, yeah, I don't know. You're talking about buying a new mattress, and Alexa is listening, and next thing you know, you get an ad for a mattress. Now everybody knows about that. There's also a huge point in my last video. The difference between a conspiracy theory and reality is 10 years, because in 10 years there's gonna be a lot of other who things that we're gonna discuss seriously, and even if we're not gonna discuss those things, they gonna force those things upon us like they're normal and reality. Like with the geoengineering, with the stratospheric aerosol injection. Remember when we used to call them chemtrails and they called us tinfoil hats for talking about those things? Now it's stratospheric aerosol injection, aka geoengineering. And it's actually good for the environment because something climate change, right? Wait, hold on. Let me go on the podcast. Let me do a podcast tour. Let me go on Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn and 10 other podcasts and talk about how good and how great stratospheric aerosol injection is. Let me just do that real quick. So there's this little brothers everywhere. Of course, your phone that is collecting a shit ton of data from you. Not only the pictures that you store there, it's the motion data, the location, all those fucking things that I don't even want to really know about. Of course, there's a lot of marketing purposes. There's selling purposes. People are going to say, well, they're saving that shit exactly for that reason. They want to sell you shit. They want to sell you a new mattress. You got a Samsung smart fridge, and and one day we'll probably realize that you only got one can of Coca-Cola in there, and then you're gonna get, because your fridge is connected to your phone, to your iPhone, it's gonna send you ads for Coca-Cola, or it's gonna automatically put Coca-Cola on your grocery list or whatever, or gonna remind you to buy more cola or whatever, beer, Heineken. It's gonna support your alcoholism. The little brother watching out for you, always making sure you got some cold beer in the fridge. Yeah, of course, and there might be some convenient aspects to that. And as always, as with everything, a lot of people, the majority of people, will trade off convenience it will trade off security for convenience, or privacy for convenience. How convenient everything has gotten, right? Everything is now so convenient. Everything is so convenient that the standard of living is dropping, right? Everybody complains about time. Now, this is just an open question for everyone, for the free people listening. Do you complain about a lack of time, and doesn't feel for you that time is running faster? Because I've been talking in the past few months, I've been asking around probably 20 people about, do they feel like, and why do they feel like the time is running faster? And everybody feels the time is running faster, and nobody has a real a real reason for it. Even like a guy that I know that has no job, he's like, yeah, the days are running faster. Time is running faster. Well, maybe it's, Revelation said that God will make the days pass faster during the end times, just as an act of mercy for those who believe, to make the days of torture shorter for them. Once again, I just leave that out here. But everybody has washing machines now, and dishwashers, and cars to go to work. Shit, the majority of people that I know, they work from home. or at least they have the opportunity to work from home. And the people that I know that have the opportunity to work from home, they work the majority of time from home. You buy shit online. You put your clothes into the washing machine and it washes those things. You have a fucking vacuum, iRobot or whatever it is, a robo vacuum. You don't even need to get out the vacuum and clean your the shithole, the toilet that you call the place of living, the toilet that you live in. And yet everybody is complaining about the lack of time, and how nobody has time. How convenient have things got, right? Things have got so convenient. Hey, you might get stabbed leaving the house. But don't worry, my fridge is gonna put Coca-Cola automatically onto the grocery list in my iPhone. How convenient. The wonders of the future. Hey, I'm sorry your daughter got stabbed last night. Here's an ad for a first aid kit. Now there's this guy that looks and talks like an absolute freak. I believe Curtis Yarvin. Never really listened to a lot of his stuff. But he's basically the guy that saying everything is gonna turn into South Africa, and we all gonna hoard barbed wire, and the ones that can still afford barbed wire, they're gonna hoard that. You're gonna have razor wired fences, and not in hopes to keep the intruders out, but in hopes to keep the intruders out for long enough for your private security to do something about them. Now I think Curtis Yarvin, by the way, Curtis Yarvin, you're not leaving. You're dying with us. Pardon me. I think he's one of those demoralization actors, whether he's doing it unwillingly, just by being so dark in his mind and his soul that he's doing it unwillingly, or he's paid by it. I don't know which one of those. It's only one of those two options with people like that. I don't know which one it is for that guy, Curtis Yarvin, but he's one of those demoralization actors. Now, I think that maybe things are moving sort of to a cyber slum type situation. I don't know about that. There's this guy, I forgot where I heard that and who that guy was. It's probably good. My brain probably forgot it in the self-defense mechanism. But there was this guy who said basically it's gonna be like those. He was referring to Star Wars. I barely watched any Star Wars movies. Where it was like it would be like those Star Wars rednecks that kind of live in the woods and in wooden shacks and stuff, but they got robots. It would be a situation like that. You got one of Elon Musk's humanoid robots beating you off in the end of the day, but you live in a scrap metal shack with addicts and needles all around it, and neon signs, big Blade Runner type neon signs advertising deodorant and toothpaste that is making you gay and autistic, that is advertising gambling to you. You have to watch an ad in order to get into your smart home. I gotta stop giving these guys ideas. I wonder when that shit is gonna go. When that shit is gonna come out. You have a smart home, you have to watch an ad in order to enter your house. You just come home with your groceries from your job in your 15-minute town, in your 15-minute city. You just come home with your electric scooter, and you put the key card to the door, and you have to watch an ad. You have to watch a gambling ad in order to access your home that is rented. Now, I talked and discussed a lot of stuff right here without actually giving a solution to it. Don't worry, I'm gonna give you a solution right now. Well, there's always several solutions. You can always kill yourself. I don't recommend that. Also, it's not as easy and not as romantic as the media portrays it. So stay away from that. I wouldn't recommend that. What I would recommend is to have faith and hope, and try not to drag the weight of the world. Try not to be dragged down by the weight of the world. I know it sounds all cliche and it has been said a lot. You know why? Because it works. I've been messed up for a bunch of years. Don't want to go into detail about that. Maybe someday, maybe not, probably not. Nobody needs to hear about that. I mean, I can be open about it, but there's literally no purpose in talking about that. But things are tough. But as soon as you start to fixate on the things that, first of all, are good, and second of all, things that you actually can influence for the better and the people around you, things will improve tremendously. And everything else is just the weight of the world, the witchcraft trying to demoralize you. You want an easy life? You want an easy way? Go lock yourself into a dark room and take pain pills until you die. Or you can go outside and live. Try to make the best of it. Don't harp on it. Don't repeat it 10,000 times a day. Not even 10 times a day in your head. But this world is designed to torture you. And it is designed to bring you down. But you are not designed to be molested and demoralized. So act against it. Act in your own nature and in your own interest. Stay away from gambling and all the other degenerate things that damage you financially and spiritually. And hey, I might as well start going Ted Kaczynski here, but put your fucking phone down. Start getting your screen time down. People talk about screen time a lot. I don't even know what my screen time is because I barely use that fucking thing. Okay, I'm more often on my computer, but it's easier to get work done on your computer. The interface is just a different one. Sometimes I still waste time here, but just disengage from that fucking shit. Because the ultimate form of self-torture, and this is the goal of certain actors, that you start torturing yourself. The ultimate act of self-torture is wasting your own time. It is engaging in things that don't serve a purpose or a fulfillment to you. Sacrificing long-term fulfillment for short-term pleasure. I just leave it at that. Stop torturing yourself.